All right, all right, all right. What is up, jobbers? It is your boy BQ. And this is your Impact Lounge TNA Victory Road review for 2025. There was no intro music, so I'm working on a new intro. So we're just jumping right into this show one time for your mind. And man, this was not my favorite TNA Plus show. And I get into this spiel every time that I review one of these shows. You know, objectively speaking, TNA Plus shows have been good. People usually leave happy, whether you're in the audience, whether you are in the crowd excuse me, that's the same thing. I meant to say at home watching. People usually leave pretty happy. This was not it for me. And if it's your first time checking it out, I am your boy, Negative BQ. And if I don't like something, I'm going to damn sure tell you that I don't like something. This is the worst, most unprofessional podcast you will ever see. There's no setup. There's no nothing. You will not find a podcaster less dedicated to watching pro wrestling than me. You know what I'm saying? And with that being said, reason I'm not really into the TNA Plus shows, they're long for me. And as I say, every month when I review these, I'm happy with 4 pay-per-views and watching a weekly show. I'm not a monthly pay-per-view person. I always dread when I have to watch one of these shows, not because I don't think it's good. I just don't want to watch it. It's just a lot for me. Too much wrestling. But this wasn't it, man. This was not it. And there were some circumstances that were out of their control, but there was a lot of circumstances in their control, and they also had to make decisions on the fly. That's something we saw here with this episode, and really over the course of the last several days. You know, so we're gonna talk all about that. And there's my dogs barking at God knows what. I did not watch the episode of Impact. And if you follow me, if you've been following me, you know that I typically don't watch the go home shows because, again, no one is less committed to watching wrestling than me, and I'm not watching 5.5 hours. So, go home show, I listen to Mike Gilbert's review, and that's pretty much the extent of what I know about the episode. I am going to go back and watch it, though, because I would like to watch Mr. Anderson.
Ain't you them kids that have been whacking off in my tool shed?
Yeah, so I want to see that tag match with Steve Macklin. So I'm going to go back and watch that. But other than that, we're just getting into Victory Road. Not going to be reviewing the episode this week. So if I haven't turned you off already, if it's your first time here, you can consider subscribing to the Negative BQ YouTube channel. Let's talk Ash by Elegance first, okay? It obviously happens a little bit later in the show, but it's kind of just something I just want to touch on right off the bat. I'm not going to talk about Masha just yet. When I get to my mailbag episode, we'll talk about Masha. But we'll talk about Ash here. And, you know, my first instinct was like everybody else, what happened? You know what I mean? But my first instinct as a podcaster and as someone who does his best to, you know, break you guys news that's important to you, the stuff that, you know, some other outlets won't look into. I initially was like, man, I got a couple people I can ask to look into what's going on here with Ash. But I decided against it because it's really not our business. Like, it's her news to share. Obviously, she relinquished the Knockouts title at Victory Road. She came out and was clearly emotional. And it sucks as a fan because I've said many times I'm a fan of hers. I wasn't a fan of the gimmick off the bat, like I was calling her Ash by Awful Sauce. But it grew on me, and the Elegance brand as a whole, as a faction, as a group, has become one of my favorite parts of the show. So hopefully they're going to continue moving on with what they have. But I mean, it's her gimmick. You know what I mean? She's going to, I guess, essentially have to give them permission to carry it on. But I was not under the impression that she is taking time off. That she's, you know, first people were, oh, she's hurt, she's pregnant. I think it's something a lot more serious. And TNA's been pretty tight-lipped about it. You know, but for me personally, I'm not messaging anyone. I'm not asking what's going on. It's not something for me to dig into. Like, it's her story to tell. She wants to get on social media and say, "Hey, this is what's going on with me." Then that's her business. I can't say the same for the Meltzers, the Johnsons, the Saps, and all these, the people who make a living digging into this kind of stuff. I can't obviously speak for them. They're their own people. They want to look into it, they will. But even though I'm small time, compared to these guys, I'm just letting you know I'm doing my part in just respecting her privacy. So I won't be looking into it. But I'm definitely disappointed about it. We always knew she would be the Knockouts champion at some point. It was just kind of how were we going to get there? And we didn't get to see what she was as champion really. I think she had maybe one title defense, maybe two. I can't even think what they were off the top of my head. But we saw her as the tag team champion, but we've seen the Elegance brand like get better and better every week, in my opinion. And it definitely, you can see on social media, all fans were disappointed in this. Even a lot of fans who weren't like TNA fans were, expressing, I don't know, sorrow is the word, but sadness or feeling bad or wondering, hoping she's okay. I have my thoughts. I have my ideas of what it is. Nothing I would repeat. Just, we all have our own opinions, whatever. But I hope that whatever it is something that she is able to pull through from. And, maybe who knows? I hate that never say never in wrestling. I hate that phrase so much. I hate when people say that, but at the same time, just who knows what the future holds. People have come back from saying they weren't coming back. They've come back as on-screen characters. Who really knows? But right now, we just hope that she's okay as fans and wrestling fans. And it is disappointing. It is sad. But, I mean, whatever she's going through appears to be far worse than what we're going through as fans as far as how we're accepting it. It's something that sucks for us. We're sad, but then we wake up in the morning and we carry on with our life. And you know what I mean? And whatever she is dealing with, like, that's her new norm. We move on the next day and we're joking and laughing about things like this is her norm now, whatever she's going through. So, prayers with her. As far as the Knockouts title picture, we'll get into that a little bit later as far as the match. But what I spent some time thinking about this the last couple days. What I think the plan was when they canceled the match with Masha, I think Ash was supposed to have an open challenge. I'm trying to use some common sense here. No one's told me anything. And I think a lot of you guys will agree with this, actually, if you haven't come to this conclusion already. I think Ash was supposed to have an open challenge, and Kalani Jordan was going to answer it. Like, why else would she be there? You know what I mean? And since she was like the protege and everything, I can see like heel Ash. Obviously, she's a heel, but given everything, heel Ash, open challenge and babyface Kalani Jordan, who she has a history, comes out, and then Ash beats her. You know what I mean? Like, I think that was what the plan was, and then they obviously had to switch up at the last minute. But I feel like common sense dictates that's what the plan was. That's why she was there. We expected Ash to wrestle. We expected some kind of match. They stay the course, like I always say. If she was, supposed to defend the title, she's going to defend the title. I always joke with members of the roster, especially in Knockouts, like, hey, they're going to pay them. They have to find ways to pay them. Like, they're not just going to pull them off the card because of one person and not pay the other. They're going to get them on the show. So I think it was supposed to be an open challenge for Kalani Jordan to answer, but to ultimately lose, which was very different than what happened. So let's get into Victory Road here. As I said, this wasn't it for me. I'm going to explain to you why. There were parts of it that I did enjoy very much. It was closer to the end, unfortunately, but your ring announcer for the evening, of course, the fabulous Mackenzie Mitchell. Ding bong, ding dong, he's Stone Cold. This opening match was a three-way. And I don't like three-ways. I mean, I like three ways. I just don't like him in wrestling. This features Cedric Alexander.
My name is Optimus Prime.
Taking on as opponents, not as a team, the Rascals, Zachary Wentz and Trey Miguel.
In one word, would I use dope? Nope.
I hated this, and I'm going to tell you why. It's not because it's I start being an old head and talking about, well, they're flipping and dipping, and you know what I'm saying. It's not that. First of all, the match had no stakes whatsoever. It was just a match to have a match. So you're not going to grab my interest when that's the case. If I'm not invested, like, did you care who won this match? Like, ask yourself. The Rascals, two of the Rascals, Cedric Alexander, did you care? Most of you, I would say, don't or didn't. So at this point, you're just watching a wrestling match. I've praised Myron Reed the last several weeks. I tell you, he is really, really good. I've told you Trey Miguel, I think, is really, really good. Cedric Alexander's pretty good. Zachary Wentz, I'm not saying he's not good, but this is my beef with him as a fan watching his matches. Okay? And you can watch his next match and tell me you disagree. All right? Every move that he does is choreographed. Like, there's no ring psychology. Like, Trey Miguel has ring psychology. And yes, does Trey Miguel, I mean, is the Rascal style overall a little bit choreographed? I mean, yeah, that's a lot of wrestling today. Okay? I don't see it a lot on the TNA roster. It's not like watching AEW. Everything's choreographed and, it's a dance routine, right? I thought that with the Motor City Machine Guns as well. They were pretty good workers, but a lot of it was like really, really choreographed as well. But Zachary Wentz, and I'm not saying I dislike him or anything like that, because I think the Rascals are cool. Everyone likes the Rascals. But if you watch his matches, there is no point in the match where it's like he knows what he's going to do and he knows what his opponent's going to do. And I understand that's, to an extent, that's what wrestling is. But everything he does, it's just like there's just no one strike and one slam or whatever. It's like it's all just combination. It's a fucking dance routine. So that is just my issue watching his matches. All right, Trey Miguel, yes, is he like that a little bit too? Is freaking Myron Reed? Myron Reed's a lot more smooth. Like, I think he does all these things in the confines of the match. Like it's just so smooth. I don't know how else to say it. It just like fits with the flow of the match. Where, yeah, man, with Wentz, man, I'm just starting to watch his matches, and it's just like you just see him like going over the steps in his head. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, like, you guys probably like this because it was X Division action. They were flying, dodging, ducking, dipping, diving, and dodging. Zachary Wentz won this. Was this some kind of number one contenders match or something? As I said, I didn't care who won, and there was no stakes. Keep in mind, I also watch the show on mute a lot of the time, so perhaps there was something. I didn't hear it, though. I think it was just a car crash match for the pre-show. So, yeah, I wasn't a fan of it. I'm sure 99% of you guys liked it and said, whoa, what an incredible match. What a way to kick off the show. Like, it just was not for me. What do we have after this, folks? I know Queen of the second segment, Gia Miller, was on. I don't remember who the hell she was talking to, so she gets no soundbite. You know what? She does.
Kill you.
She was talking to someone. I don't remember. I thought it was Matt Hardy, but there ended up being a first-class Penthouse with Big Boom, AJ Francis.
Boom!
And his guest was Matt Hardy.
Wonderful!
So I will not bullshit you. I fast-forwarded through this entire thing because I did not care. My thoughts watching it was like, there's a table. There's conveniently a table. AJ Francis always does the first-class Penthouse in the entranceway. Like, he's in the ring. Someone's going through the fucking table. They're going to make a garbage match. I mean, it was just like kind of like so obvious what they were doing. That is what I say, and I steal this phrasing from Eric Bischoff, but excuses for matches. Like, you just all see it like, okay, they're going to have a table match. There's a table, and there's these two guys. It just, there's such a difference between like creatively getting somewhere and then just having an excuse for a match. And like this was an excuse to get Matt Hardy on the show. So I didn't care. I fast forwarded through the entire thing. I just saw Matt Hardy go through the table and then I hit play. And then what we had was a 6-man tag team action featuring the System, King of the White People, Eddie Edwards.
Ooh, I'm white.
Ryan Myers.
What is she going to think when she comes in here? Oh, look, he's got a billion toys.
And Johnny Dango Curtis.
These are spirit fingers. And these are gold.
Their opponents representing Order 4, we had the Good Hand Jobs.
Hey, for another 60, I'll jerk you off in the parking garage.
And Secret Agent Zero. And this was another one, man. This was kind of quick and painless. System won. So I already knew they were going to win because I'm like, they're going to go 50-50 on the show. We know that Mustafa Ali is going to beat Moose later in the night. So the System has to win here. Order 4 is not looking really strong to me right now. Like, let's go back a little bit, okay? Let's go 3 weeks. Just spoiler alert. I don't have a lot positive to say at the beginning of the show here. Go back a few weeks. Agent Zero clotheslines Mara Shade. Thought it was a great visual. I was like, great way to get heat. I was feeling it. I was into it. I was digging it. All right. I was erect. And then the Hardys music plays. Like, instead of just going out of the segment with heat, they had to go baby faces up. The music hits. The Hardys come out. 2 on fucking 4, whatever the hell it is. 2 on 3 lays out Order 4. Then they wrestle the next week. And Order 4 loses. If you would have just, like, it would have just made more sense of the previous week that Order 4 had heat instead of the Hardys getting comeuppance on the same freaking episode. Like, have heat. Next week wrestle. Boom. Winner. Like, you know what I'm saying? But, whoops, I knocked my phone down. Give me 1 second, monkeys. But yeah, just Order 4, they leave on their asses 1 week. They wrestle the next week versus the Hardys. Leave on their asses. And now they wrestle here and they leave on their freaking asses. So most likely Order 4 is going to win at Bound for Glory. I can't, excuse me. I cannot imagine these guys are going to lose. But, the match was quick and painless. It was unnecessary for me. But it's like, hey, it's TNA Plus. We squeeze as many people as possible onto the show so that we can pay them. So they got them on here. But man, for me, the match was really unnecessary. I thought the focus should have excuse me, good Lord, what am I coughing for? I thought the focus should have just been Mustafa Ali and Moose. And that's it. I don't think the other guys here needed a loss, but they got one. So yeah, but this let us know that Ali was going to win later in the night, which I was already looking forward to the match. Like, Ali and Moose was something I really wanted to see on this thing, but this just lets you know what the result is going to be later. So there's just nothing left up to the imagination. So after this was the official segment. We had standing in the ring Santino.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
Carlos Silva.
All right, we're going streaking. Bring your green hat. Let's go.
And then this is the official segment where we had Ash by Elegance.
Come on, Teddy. Come on, Teddy.
That soundbite is now retired. And she relinquished the Knockouts Championship. She gave it to Santino. And I'm going to nitpick the shit out of this too, even though it probably doesn't deserve it because it's more about Ash. Why was Santino and freaking Silva out there? I would have preferred, even though we're like dangerously close to Carlos Silva being an on-screen character. Like, he's on the roster page. You know what I'm saying? We're dangerously close to that. But I would have preferred he was out there by himself because at least he's a serious character. And Ash could have given him the belt, but you have Joke Santino out there. Like, they both were not necessary. But if you're going to have anybody, I would have preferred she left the title in the ring. I'm being honest with you. But I guess they needed Santino in order to make the match, which was going to be a knockouts battle royal. This, well, let's get into everyone who was in it. First of all, we had M by Elegance.
I keep dreaming and envisioning these long legs. And it's
Thinking of Susan Anton or what? What's the deal with that?
Heather by Elegance.
He has an erection.
Yeah. It's all her fault.
We got a lot of sound bites to run through here. Queen of the Rubber match, Zaya Brookside. Trying to have a rubber match battle royal. And her tag team partner.
From Ching Chong, China.
Laying Lee. We had the Inspiration out there.
I am iconic.
We had leader of the Mewtwo movement, Danny Luna.
God damn, bit like Mewtwo.
Jody Threat.
I just felt like running.
Some local jobber.
Who?
Some local jobber. And then we had, from NXT, Kalani Jordan.
It became personal with me.
And, Telegraph and Tom, Hannafin lets us know within the first 5 seconds of this thing who's winning the match. Ray Wall, do you see what I see? And it's Kalani Jordan, and he's making a big deal of it for the first 30 seconds of the match, paying no attention to anyone else in there, including the other girl that we don't recognize, which they didn't even know who it was. So it became very, very clear very quickly that the title was going back to NXT. This battle royal was not good, but I'm not going to hold it against them because they threw it together at the last minute. And as I said at the top of the show, I firmly believe Ash was supposed to have an open challenge for Kalani Jordan to answer. She just so happened to be available, and they did the battle royal. I would have bet money that the Elegance brand and the Inspiration were going to eliminate each other, and that is exactly what happened. It's exactly what happened the last time they had a battle royal. So this really was not very good. I thought Jody Threat went out a little too quickly. I don't know. Again, you have to give them grace because they threw this together. They threw this together at the last minute, and what they said it was going to be a number one contenders battle royal, the last two standing. We're going to wrestle for the title later in the night. As soon as the winners were confirmed, Laying Lee and freaking Kalani Jordan, I was going to call her Dakota Kai. Once they were the last two, everyone knew the title was going back to NXT. The people were pissed on social media. The marks, the marks who like everything are posting reaction videos of them crying with tears and that NXT has the titles back. But I will say on a serious note, they did anger a lot of the fan base. They're starting to turn off a portion of the fan base. And it's not so much they're doing, it's just because there are bad memories of the AEW partnership. And people can say, oh, well, Kenny Omega brought eyes and this and this. You remember, but Gail Kim put out a tweet yesterday or something saying that Kenny Omega was, what did she say? That he didn't really talk to anyone when he was at TNA. I can confirm that. Okay. I've made the comment to you guys in the past that when the AEW partnership happened, none of them had interest in actually going to TNA to do anything. I think they were definitely big timing them. They were cool with the partnership, but they wanted, the TNA guys to go there. They had no interest in coming to the Impact Zone, Hannafin, because at the time, AEW only had one show, which was Dynamite. They didn't have Rampage. They did, obviously, when Christian Cage won the title, but they didn't have Rampage. They didn't have Collision. These guys were making six figures, whatever, working 1 day a week. So now you're they're not doing house shows. The pay-per-views were, not monthly, but they were quarterly or whatever they were doing. They were making a lot of money for very little work. And then you're going to tell them, hey, you're going to go to freaking Skyway and wrestle in front of nobody. You know what I'm saying? So there was issues with that partnership, and a lot of the fans have poor memories of it. It was the shits. So they start thinking, well, that's what this is. We have to keep in the back of our mind, creatively, they know where they're going. So we can't shit on it too much. But wrestling fans are not patient. There's times I'm not patient. Okay, sometimes I have to tell myself, well, let it play out. You know what I'm saying? But wrestling fans are not patient. There's a good portion who's not enjoying this. There's a portion who is and who's optimistic, and they know that there's the business side is leading towards a larger TV deal. But yeah, we're gonna move on. We're obviously gonna get to Kalani Jordan versus Lang Lee a little bit later, and we'll talk about it a little bit more. By the way, these two girls shook hands after the Battle Royal. TNA just invaded NXT, and her partner was one of the people who invaded NXT. But let's shake hands and play grab ass. So after this, we had tag team action. The Nemeth brothers, Ryan Nemeth.
Well, let me tell you something, brother.
And his big brother, Nick.
I've been talking to people walking here. We've been talking about next year, and I'm sitting there saying, I'm not going to be here.
Their opponents were the cockroach, Matt Cardona.
You know, it's like you don't care about this company at all.
No fucking shit, I don't care about this company. Why, this is just an ATM to me.
And the hometown man.
Everyone in this room is now dumber.
I mean, I thought the match was okay. This hometown man thing is like kind of over. It's kind of strangely over. I don't even necessarily hate it. When when it happened, when he like debuted, I was like, what the fuck is this? You know what I'm saying? I was like, this is not funny, but I've come around on it. I've said that on my show. I thought this was going to be a pre-show match. I was pretty sure it was going to be on the card. I mean, on the show, on the Victory Road show, one way or another. I wasn't expecting it on the main show. Ryan Nemeth takes so many freaking L's. I mean, I understand he's kind of like a jobber, but I mean, at some point, Jesus Christ. These are former tag team champions. Even when they had the belts, this guy couldn't beat anybody. I don't even know what his finisher is. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, hometown man with the roll-up. That's how he wins everything. Keep in mind, the hometown man is undefeated. All right? Imagine they put that kind of push behind some of these other stars. The hometown man is undefeated. He cannot even win a match that has Nick Nemeth in it. I mean, he can't even lose a match that has Nick Nemeth in it. So, I mean, the Nemeths just lost to the Hardys. They're taking a big step back here, in my opinion. I feel like this is ultimately going to the Nemeths versus Cardona and Myers. Like, I feel like they're going that direction, but I don't really know. I don't quite see how they get there, but I think once the excuse me, I'm tired. Woo! After the system is done with Order 4, like I feel like they could visit that, but I have no clue what's for the Nemeths. I mean, Cardona and Hometown Man didn't really need the win. They're probably not, Hometown Man is not going to be on the Bound for Glory main card. Well, no, I guess he will be. They'll probably be in the Battle Royal. And maybe that's what Nemeth is doing. I wouldn't be surprised if Nick Nemeth didn't win the Call Your Shot, actually. I don't know that he'll win the title again, but I wouldn't be shocked because I feel that Mike Santana, once he wins the title, kind of finishes off the NXT feud. Wouldn't be shocked to see them revisit Ali and Santana. And then I think it would make a lot of sense for Nick Nemeth and Santana after that. So that's my way too early prediction for the Call Your Shot gauntlet is Nick Nemeth. But the match was okay. The work was pretty solid in it. So, I mean, I didn't hate it. It's just every time I see that hometown man win, I'm just like, why? Like, what? It's like he's strangely getting pushed. You know what I'm saying? So they had to get their comeuppance because they super kicked his head off, a few weeks ago. After this, we had Mike Santana.
That's nasty.
He took on Ridge Holland.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you
We don't care.
What I do like about Ridge Holland, he's jacked. He's got great size, solid enough worker. I'm not erect, but solid enough. I still wouldn't recognize him on the street if I saw him, like in the face, And as a wrestling fan, whenever I say that about someone, you're rarely going to see me come around on him. If I feel someone is bland looking, I just can't. I very rarely can get there. I have a feeling this was kind of a TNA tryout match. Mike Gilbert said the same thing. I think he had said that he expects he wouldn't be shocked if in the next round of cuts he was on there. Like I feel like he is. I feel like TNA cannot wait to get their hands on this guy. But he's got size. He's got a look outside of the face. So if they bring him on, and can they do something special with him? I'm all for it. But again, a little bit bland for my taste. Mike Santana got a pretty good match out of him. And man, do they not find random ways to get Mike Santana on this card? Like we know he's the number one contender, and we don't want him wrestling with Trick Williams. You know, like I say that all the time. Like stop getting your hands on each other. Like find something else for him to do. They do it. They find Sami Callihan, even though that match made no sense. Ridge Holland, even though that kind of makes no sense. I mean, where they say he attacked him for Trick Williams, like it's it all makes no sense, but it's also not that big of a deal because it's kind of refreshing to see the number one contender just occupied in other areas on way to the title instead of talking about the title each and every week and messing with Trick Williams each and every week. Like it's nice. It's they're giving it some room to breathe, which I think is good. That is a good thing. Well, after this, we had the fake Bioflex report with fake injuries, talking about Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry earlier in the night was knocked out. I'm like, is that the new gimmick that they're gonna go to Joe Hendry, knocked out cold? He was down. Frankie Kazarian, Macklin, fake injuries. Everyone will compete tonight. So thank you, Bioflex. After this here, we had, and I don't know why I'm singing this, but we had Mustafa Ali.
If you vote for me, all of your wildest dreams will come true.
And his opponent, the two-time grand champion, Moose.
Damn you, Moose.
Reason I say that is because Hannafin had the audacity one time when he was listing off Moose's accomplishments, he had the audacity grand championship in there. So yeah, two-time grand champion Moose. This match here, man, I knew this was going to be really, really good, and of course it was. Even though Ali kind of has that X Division style that I don't love, like it works for him. And there's so many other aspects to his game that are on point. Moose delivers every freaking, I hate saying PLEs, but every pay-per-view, even every TNA Plus show. This cough is not going away, and I don't know why I'm coughing. Moose always delivers. Like Moose never fucking phones it in when it matters. That is one of his greatest qualities. He has been like that since the day he got to TNA. He kind of had that rough cage match with I was gonna say Chael Sonnen. I forgot. Oh my god, and he passed away too. I can't remember his name. With King Mo and Lashley. Other than that, like that one was a little rough, but other than that, Moose has always really delivered, and this was no different. The winner of this match was going to their team was going to have the advantage at the Garbage War match at Bound for Glory. And this goes, it's the same way every time. I cannot think of once where a babyface has won this match. Like it's always heel getting the advantage. I would be if one of you guys know, let me know. I don't think a babyface has ever won this. So we knew Ali was going to win. We knew that from the beginning when the Order 4 lost. And of course he did win here. Very good match though, man. This is when the show, everything up to this point was like, bleh, but then we got this. And it was very, very good. Then we went a little bit more to bleh. We had Raw King Eric Young.
Who the heck are you?
What are you talking about? I'm Santa Claus.
No, you're not.
Why, of course I am.
And Brother Love Handles Joe Hendry. Let me rewind real quick. The Moose and Ali match. I forgot to say he had the dancers come out, and one of them was Tasha Steele's nut shot at him, and that's how Ali won. Wasn't the Order 4 banned from ringside? It doesn't matter if you come out in a fucking costume. That's like saying if I have custody of my kids, so I can't but let's just say I didn't, and I was going to go see my kids, or I wanted to see my kids, but they're like, "Hey, you've lost your rights. You can't." And then I just show up one day in a fucking costume or a disguise, like I've got a fake mustache on, like that. So I'm allowed to see them now. Like I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt that when Impact rolls around on Thursday, that they're going to reverse the advantage. I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt that that's what they're going to do. I could be wrong, but I have a feeling because I expect Order 4 to win at Bound for Glory. And I don't know if they're going to win with the advantage because the heel teams don't usually win this match. The Hardcore Garbage War, that's usually a babyface match. So if the Order 4 are going to win, I can see fucking Santino coming out and reversing the decision. That way it keeps both Moose and Ali strong and opens the door for Order 4 to get a big win at Bound for Glory. So we'll see if that's what they do. They may completely ignore it. I don't know. But anyway, let's get back to Eric Young and Joe Hendry. This match was okay. They both can work a little. It was fine. I did not expect Joe Hendry to win this match. Is the cleanse on hold until 2026? It's on hold till December 31st of 2026. Everyone was assuming this was going to be the start of the cleanse. Like, it makes sense, right? And Hannafin sells it at the end like this is his last match. He sold it like a send off, which is fine, dude. I've hit my limit with Joe Hendry on TV personally. I liked him a lot more his first run. Like, I liked him a lot more. I found myself getting annoyed with him very quickly. I got annoyed all the way back when he was the grand champion. Shout out to Moose. When he was the digital media champion. And I thought he had it too long. And then he had a match with Dirty Dango when they were starting to push Dango a little bit. And I said, yeah, Dango will make a good digital media champion. This means nothing. This is like they were just pushing him to where he had Oleg Prudius and he was doing the little, I hate wrestling segments. You know what I'm saying? Like, it had some legs. And then he ended up losing to Joe Hendry. And I was like, oh, come on. Like, just unnecessary to keep the title on Joe Hendry that long. So, what was my point? No, my point was that's around the time I actually started getting kind of annoyed with him. So it was before he blew up, but once he became the champion and was just pretty much jokey McJokerson the whole time, I got really, really turned off. So I'm okay with him off my screen. He can go to NXT, do his thing. I'm all good with it. I'm ready for something else fresh within the company. That said, I expected Eric Young to win here. Keep in mind, Eric Young just lost to Judas Icarus 2 weeks ago. All right. Joe Hendry cost him the match, and he lost here too. I think prior to that, Eric Young lost to the hometown man. So he needs to look deep within. He got rid of a freaking Walt Williams and Kid Icarus, the Northern Armory. He got rid of those guys. He's losing just as much as them. So I'm sure it's leading to whatever he's got going on. Whoever he's bringing in for this cleanse, the story means he's supposed to lose up to that point. I get it, but I would rather they maybe Joe Hendry still. Yeah, I'm sure Joe Hendry's not going anywhere right now. He's probably going to stick around to the end of the year because I think that's when his contract's up. So we'll see. He'll probably be in the Call Your Shot Gauntlet or something. Maybe they'll eliminate him first, like they did in NXT. That would be cool. No, I was just saying that's when I hit pause here, folks. And if what I'm saying doesn't match with what you just heard me say a second ago, I apologize. I had to hit. I actually thought I hit play and started recording and talking for about 10 minutes, so I realized I wasn't recording. So I think the last thing you heard me say, we're talking about Joe Hendry and Dango, and that's when I kind of started getting annoyed by him, basically, all the way back then. This was before he even got pushed, and then he became champion, and he was Goofy McFuckerson, and I just got really turned off. So, like, I'm okay with Joe Hendry being gone, but going back to that, Eric Young, I didn't expect him to lose. He lost to Kid Icarus 2 weeks ago. He lost to the hometown man last month. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, this loss is supposed to be part of this losing streak. Hopefully, is part of this whatever the hell he's doing with this cleanse. But we are ready for the cleanse, Eric Young, because everything he has done in the past like 2 years has been very uninteresting, and I'm ready for him to do something interesting. So ever since he came back, man, when he was king of the rah rah speech, and just everything up to this point, man, Eric Young's run is just not really doing it for me. I don't think it's doing it for a lot of people. So I hope whatever they're doing here with the cleanse is actually a good thing, and I hope it's interesting. If he's reforming Sanity, that would be cool. If if it is a stable, maybe it's just him by himself. Who knows? I have the feeling it's a stable though. But yeah, man, I didn't expect him to lose here, but he did. So yeah, Joe Hendry, and then Tom Hannafin, at the end sold it like he's leaving, and I am okay with him leaving. I'm over Joe Hendry. I am so fucking over it. After this, sorry, I lost my place here. Oh! Yeah, this was the tables match between the aforementioned Big Boom AJ Francis and Matt Hardy. Get that garbage out of here! I fast forwarded through this entire thing because I did not care. I just saw the very end when AJ Francis went through the table. Are we just gonna have table matches every week? Or are we gonna have garbage matches every week? Like we're just man, they love they love furniture. They absolutely love it. Now, no, not now. This is I thought we were getting to the Kazarian match. No, now we have the Knockouts title match. This featured the aforementioned Laying Lee, Kalani Jordan, and the special guest referee. They stuck to the plan, Indy Hartwell.
How long did it take you to learn English once you got here?
It was really easy because we speak English in Australia, you fucking idiot.
This was a babyface versus babyface match with a babyface special guest referee. When have we ever in the history of pro wrestling seen that? Now again, they had to make moves on the fly. They had to make decisions on the fly. They stick to the script. If they say, we're going to pay you, we're going to fucking pay you. So Indy Hartwell, you still got to be the guest referee for this match. It didn't need a special guest referee. These two girls were just hugging previous to this. All right. I didn't think this match was very good either. I don't think the crowd cared. I do go in and out with volume. I'll turn the volume for a bit, and once two wrestlers do a fucking shoulder block and one of them gingerly falls to the ground and Hannafin's like, oh, I put it right back on mute. But what I heard, every time I came in, I was going in and out. Every time I came in, the crowd didn't care. Laying Lee's talented. She has no connection with the audience. Maybe she'll get there. Maybe this was part of it. Kalani Jordan, I think she's pretty solid, I tell you, she's hotter than, I don't know, two pigs fucking in a broom closet. I will say that. But they had this match. It was real awkward with the special guest referee. Like, Indy Hartwell looks so out of place. And Hannafin's like, oh, she's doing such a good job doing that, giving him rope breaks. And okay, thank you, fucking Tom. But I thought this whole thing was really clunky and disjointed because it was just babyface versus babyface, basically an impromptu match, something they weren't even ready for. And then you add the babyface special guest referee, completely unnecessary because this is not Masha versus, it's not even the same girls. It was Masha versus Ash with Indy Hartwell. Like, now we're just completely changing the competitors, but we leave her in there. So it was just, man, I wasn't feeling it. And there was a spot in the match, which was one of the fakest things I've ever seen, where Indy Hartwell was checking on Laying Lee. And Kalani Jordan came off the top rope and hit Indy Hartwell by accident, knocking her out cold. This is not a referee. This is a wrestler. And she is out cold from a leg drop to the back of the head, missing Laying Lee, hitting the spinning twat shot, whatever she calls it, thunderstruck. She hits that, and maybe that leads to a little mini feud going forward between the two of them because she cost her the title. But by the time Indy Hartwell came to, she counts the 2 and and a kick out. And then Kalani Jordan ends up winning this thing, and she is a Knockouts champion. TNA just invaded NXT, and now we have a babyface NXT. Like, fucking seriously. So we have a babyface NXT Knockouts champion. The title is back with NXT. Silva comes out dejected, handing the fucking belt. Like, motherfucker, you made this match. You were part of this. I guess Santino made it. Like, what are we dejected about? She didn't have to be in this match. No one was forcing NXT to be in this battle royal. Like, would it make sense just have TNA girls in a battle royal if you didn't want the title to go back to NXT? That's my damn dogs again. Now, my dog's been some barking fools lately. I don't know what it's like pissing them off. Shut up. I mean, it just all like logically just so fucking silly. But it's baby faces wrestling each other. Babyface wins. Indy Hartwell is stalking Kalani Jordan around the ring. I think she was supposed to do that to Ash, and they probably had it laid out what they were going to do. But instead, Kalani Jordan is walking around, and Indy Hartwell is up her ass following her. And it looked so awkward because Kalani Jordan didn't even acknowledge her. It looks so stupid. I don't know how many of you guys caught that. So if you want to, if some of you guys are like Dave Meltzer, watch this shit again. If you got that kind of time on your hands, you'll see what I'm talking about. She's just completely up her ass, following her around, and she looked ridiculous. She didn't look ridiculous. She was killing it in the referee outfit. Let's not forget that. But I'm saying here, following her around like they were supposed to have a confrontation and didn't. It was so bad. And then she goes in the aisleway and she hugs Ash. Ash is there waiting for her. And they hug. I get the history, okay? And I get what happened with Ash earlier in the night. Now everyone's fucking friends. Where's the beef here? Where's the heat? Why is this company allergic to heat? Kalani Jordan wins the title, and then, I mean, dude, if I were booking this and I'm clearly not, I would have grabbed that title, snatched it, rolled out of the ring, and ran off. Like, and Hennigan, they stole another one. They stole the title. He can sell it however he fucking wants. But instead, she stays behind to get herself over to the audience who is chanting NXT at her. And she's just eating it up, smiling and cheesing, and then goes back and hugs the Knockouts champion, the former Knockouts champion. Like, this is such a shit show. And again, you got to give him some grace. You know? Who knows what I would have done? Well, no, I've just told you what I would have done, but who knows what many of us would have done in this situation, like to book at the last minute like this. But I hope they're not proud of how this is all coming off, because it is not coming off good. We are going to get a Bound for Glory, an ice cold Kalani Jordan versus Indy Hartwell match. Ice cold. And I don't think it's what they had in mind for Indy Hartwell being the champion. I don't think Indy was going to beat Ash, by the way. She's winning it now. There's no way. It would. I don't think TNA wants to take this, the win out of the sale and have the Knockouts title come home and then the world title come home as well. Because I think the plan was always to have the Knockouts title in TNA. Ash got it a month or so ago, and we're, if I knock my phone off this thing again, I'm going to lose my shit. The title's already back in TNA because they can't do. I feel like they can't do 2 title changes in one night because it just devalues what Mike Santana does later. However, there's no reason for Kalani Jordan to keep the title past Bound for Glory. I mean, absolutely none. So I think the title is going to come home to Indy Hartwell, and we might see an Indy Hartwell heel turn after that because they've done a good job building her. And she probably there's probably some legs in her to feud with Tessa Blanchard, which should keep her as a babyface. But winning the title in like an ice cold fashion like this may hurt her to where she starts all of a sudden feeling like shoved down our throat and overexposed. So it's going to be interesting. The Knockouts tag team title match is going to be this Thursday on Impact. I think the plan is for the Inspiration to win the titles, and they weren't going to do that the night that Ash gave up her title. Because what people have asked, and I asked the same question, why didn't they just make the title vacant until Bound for Glory? Why didn't they use the episode of Impact, the tapings, to build a number one contender so that there's some heat versus Indy Hartwell? Like, this was a perfect Danny Luna spot, okay? But TNA doesn't do TNA versus TNA at Bound for Glory. Like, they're going to do TNA versus NXT, or TNA for someone who used to be in NXT, or TNA for someone who used to be in WWE. Bound for Glory historically in the main event picture has featured people from WWE. Okay, not every single time, but historically, one way or another. Mike Santana is not WWE, but Trick Williams is. Mike Santana came from AEW. It's very rare. I think years ago we had Eddie Edwards versus someone, and it was like, wow, we actually have a TNA versus TNA main event. It's TNA versus, it was Eddie versus Josh, I believe. Josh Alexander, Eddie Edwards. Very rare. But man, I really thought this was like the Danny Luna spot. It would have, there was already a story built in with them. So I just would have rather that. And you could have had either of them win, and I think people would have been okay with it. But I think this is going to be ice cold. It's going to be the coldest feud, quote unquote, on here, because even though they're invading NXT, this babyface who's happy to be here is your champion. Indy Hartwell's happy to be here. I don't know, but yeah, I don't think that's what. But my whole point was, instead of doing that and vacating the title and building up to it, I think they said, "Yo, Elegance brand, like Em and Heather are going to drop the belts." And it would be insane to do that right after Ash relinquished hers, So that's kind of what I'm thinking. I expect this Thursday, when it rolls around, for them to drop the titles. I don't want them to. I think they're great, but I think it's very, very possible. So, yeah, the women's match wasn't it for me either. Kalani Jordan wins. And then let me check my notes here real quick just to make sure I'm not missing something. So then we had King of the Block Party.
It's a block party. I'm not playing with y'all, bro.
Frankie Kazarian, and he's challenging for the International Championship, Steve Macklin.
I do the ass kicking around here. Wait your turn, jarhead. Ah!
I thought this was the best match on this entire show. Now, I watch wrestling very different than a lot of you guys. A lot of you guys love the X Division stuff. You probably thought that opening match with Cedric Alexander and the Rascals was one of the best matches, Obviously, I think everyone liked Ali versus Mooseman, but for me, for like BQs, this was it. I like this a lot. I fully expected Frankie Kazarian to win. And they're selling their psychology. The moves mean something. I was just into it. And eventually, Mil Mascares or whoever the fuck came running down. I don't even remember what his name. I know he was on TNA before. I don't remember. Judas Icarus or whatever his name is. He distracted Steve Macklin. Frankie Kazarian hits the cutter and he wins. He's the new champion. It is about time that Frankie got a big win. This did not hurt Steve Macklin one bit. And I'm going to tell you what I did like in this. It is very rare that someone who's beefing with a champion, even though they're feuding for no reason, by the way, Mil Mascares, and I know that's not who he is, but him and Steve Macklin, they have a run-in earlier in the night for whatever reason. Oh, that's who Gia Miller was interviewing, Steve Macklin. That's what it was. I was like, man, I don't remember who the Queen of the Second segment was talking to. It was Steve Macklin earlier. But we rarely see when someone's beefing with the champion, that person cost the champion the title. Go back to Royal Rumble where Macho Man cost the Ultimate Warrior the title in his feud with the Warrior. He cost the Warrior the title to Sergeant Slaughter. It's rare that we see that because, logically, why would a challenger want, the champion who he's feuding with to lose the belt? So it's really rare, but it's refreshing. And I think the way they got away with it here is because Mil Mascares comes from AAA. And I'm calling him that because he was Mil Muertes. So I'm not a fucking idiot, okay? He comes from AAA. The local talent there does not care about the championships. It's always like the Americans come and win the titles, right? It's kind of how it works over there. So he carries it over here as well. I have very little interest in AAA versus NXT, by the way. Very little. But, staying in character with what they do there, they don't care about titles. So he had no problem costing Steve Macklin a championship. So we'll see, man. We'll see how that works. But I think that was they actually did a pretty good story, even though it seemed like at first Steve Macklin wrestled Jake, and then Steve Macklin wrestled Frankie, and then Frankie wrestled Jay, and it just seemed like this like circle jerk of matches. They actually had a little story here. It was real under the radar, but the story that leads up to Steve Macklin winning the title. I mean, excuse me, Frankie Kazarian winning the title. My opinion, BQ's opinion here, is that the Mil Mascares spot was originally Jake something. Because you remember Jake something teamed up with Eric Young. That's how they did the tag team match with Mr. Anderson and all that. I think I'm just making an assumption here. I think that before they decided to do that match, I think Jake was supposed to show up here and cost him the title. That would make more sense in the confines of the story. But then you got Mr. Anderson, you got these other things you got to do. But I'm very much looking at Frankie Kazarian, even though he's blocked me and blocked many of you, because you're not a real fan of TNA if Frankie Kazarian hasn't blocked you on Twitter. I am looking forward very, very much to seeing how this goes. I want to see if they do anything with Jake something that's worth a damn. I bet you Jake something. I bet anything. Next week he shows up with the same fucking shorts on and no shirt. Like teaming him with Frankie is perfect to like put some clothes on this guy, and like the way Frankie dresses, like dress Jake something like that. Change his name. You know what I'm saying? Swing for the fences this time and like see if you can get something out of this guy. This is his best opportunity. His best opportunity was with Hammerstone. That didn't work out. They were going to be champions and all that stuff. Like they were going somewhere with it. Hammerstone's not part of the company anymore. Now we're back to Caveman Jake. Like, this is an opportunity to do something with him. But, man, why does my gut tell me he's going to come out next week with the something shorts and no shirt on, walking around with Frankie? We'll see. But I'll be the first person very excited if he has Naked Jake has clothes on. And then we're going to get into the main event of this thing. It's for the X Division Championship.
The limit does not exist.
We had the champion, Leon Slater.
Hey, here. I'm in charge.
Do you feel in charge?
And the challenger, Myron Reed.
I am your father.
Man, this match here, even though I said for my taste, Frankie Kazarian versus Steve Macklin was my like match of the night, I'm compartmentalizing. I'm putting BQ's taste over here, and I'm just like the average wrestling fan, the average TNA fan for a second. This was one of the best X Division matches I've ever seen. Even though these guys worked that X Division style, and there was there some choreographed shit? Yes. But they did a lot of stuff we haven't seen before. They're both so incredibly smooth. I mean, it all looks so cool. They did so many things here where like it literally popped me, like got a reaction out of me. Like usually I just watch wrestling like dead serious, you know what I'm saying? Like I was really entertained with what they were doing. We knew Leon Slater was going to win. That's not even come on. But they kind of built a little star out of Myron Reed here, I think. I know they're like co-all-stars or whatever that where they give him the award at every loop. And he was very emotional about it, you know? And he had said that he's not here on a contract. We didn't expect that he was. I figured when Killer Kelly's contract ran out that he was going to split, but the fans are asking for it. The fans are asking for him to be signed. And I think you got to break him off from the Rascals. But man, the talent on this guy, I think he's better than Leon Slater personally. I know Leon Slater is the prodigy of this company. He's got a little more height, and so he's got a build. He looks a little the part more so than Myron Reed. Maybe when you're talking about, hey, we want to get this guy up to the world title picture. You know what I'm saying? But like Myron Reed's fucking good, man. And there's just such a difference between this match and what I said with the opening match. And you guys are going to see what I'm talking about next time. When I know I'm like kind of dragging him through the mud here, and it's not my intention because I do not dislike him by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just speaking as a fan watching the show. Everything's very, very choreographed from the beginning to the end. Myron Reed doesn't wrestle like that because the way that he just is so springy and bounces, it's within the confines and the flow of the match. I mean, it's really the best way I can say it. And then Leon Slater is very similar as well, but I would really I would buy my Myron Reed stock now. You know what I'm saying? I think they would be doing themselves a disservice if he just goes back to being a tag team wrestler after this and them not doing anything with him. They'd be doing themselves a huge disservice because this kid is very good. So after the match, after it's over, and again, this is just some like very, very good shit. Sound like Vince McMahon, good shit, pal. But it was some very good shit. But after this, we hear the music, and it is
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
And he let us know that at Bound for Glory, he's going to be defending the title versus Javon Evans from NXT. One thing interesting about Myron Reed, this is his third TNA Plus show in a row wrestling for a title, but which is crazy and the reason I'm laughing is because the only time I've seen him win a match was the number one contenders match. Oh yeah, they beat the Nemeth brothers too, but you know what I'm saying? Like the company's so funny because you can lose, and you'll be in the title picture next week. It's wild. But he's going to wrestle Javon Evans. Javon Evans is very good. I've seen him wrestle once. So that's my basis when I say he's very good, but they should be a very much a show-stealing match. Everyone is worried now that the NXT title or the X Division title is going to NXT. Like, it's not going to. Come on. They're not going to do it with Leon Slater. They're not taking no title off him for some. It's just a dream match. I don't know whose dream, but it's just a dream match. That's all it is. They're just trying to have a great X Division match about for glory. Leon Slater's not dropping no title. You're good. I promise you guys, you're good. So that's going to wrap it up for me. That's going to do it. This was a lot longer than I don't usually hit that hour mark, but which is crazy because usually the TNA Plus shows I kind of run through. And if I was too negative for you, I apologize. Like this just was not the show for me. There was a great main event. Steve Macklin versus Frankie Kazarian, I liked very much. Moose versus Ali, very much. Everything else, very forgettable. If you didn't watch the show, I would just watch those matches, and you'll be good. That's going to do it for me, folks. I'm your boy, BQ. I'll be back soon with a mailbag. And we'll be reviewing Impact next week. And I'm out. Peace.